Hello everybody and welcome to Nick's Stream. Today we're going to be checking out my game pickups leading to February 2022. Let's check it out. Hello everybody, welcome back. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below and let's check out what I got for the month of February. Okay, so this month we got quite a mixed bag of things. It's kind of cool how mixed everything is this month. I actually also got a PlayStation 4 this month for the first time. I know you've seen me have PlayStation 4 games on here before, but I was picking up at good deals in the future, eventually getting a PS4. Finally got one with some Christmas money I got. So let's jump into these pickups. Starting off, I actually only got one Switch game this month, and that is The Hunt Down. Now this is a game I've been looking forward to for a while. It's kind of like a side-scroller 80s themed cover shooter. It has like that cyberpunk aesthetic, or it really has a feeling of kind of like Blade Runner. When you're playing through this game, the mechanics are great. It's a lot of fun. You just go through the levels and you're shooting guys and you're ducking into cover. There's like little alleyways you can go into to cover yourself, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. You get it's got a lot of 80s tropes in it. Like the characters' names are all hilarious, and yeah, it's really cool. Definitely worth checking this one out.
In Hunt Down. This old-school arcade action comedy is now coming to your home screen.
So, next up, the next three games are ones that actually came with my PlayStation 4 when I got it. I got it through a Facebook Marketplace deal. And the first one is Mortal Kombat 11. Now, this is the base edition of Mortal Kombat 11. I do also have Mortal Kombat 11, and I played through it on the Switch. The Switch version is absolutely excellent. And I have that all the way. I bought all the DLC, so I have like technically the ultimate version of that. Now, this is the base version. I'm not going to rebuy the DLC. Actually, I might eventually get rid of this one because I am going to buy a physical copy of the ultimate release, which has all the DLC on the disc. So this is kind of like a temporary thing in my collection. It's kind of cool. It came with the system. Doesn't really hold much value though.
Recognize me, little brother.
The next one that came with the system was Ark Survival Evolved. This game, I played on the PC, is pretty terrible. It's a first-person survival game. The idea of it is cool. It's a survival game, and there's like dinosaurs, and you start with nothing, and then you have to find weapons, build stuff. The game just doesn't work. It runs like garbage. It's laggy. Not a good game at all, but it came with the system, so I can't complain. And the third game that came with the system was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This is the reboot of the series, of the Modern Warfare series. Now, the Modern Warfare games, in my opinion, are the best Call of Duties. Modern Warfare 1 and 2. After that, I have never played 3, so I don't know. But 1 and 2 are absolutely amazing games. This one is kind of pointless to own physical because if you look at the back, it says it requires 150 gigs of your hard drive. A Blu-ray only holds 50 gigs, so this game is not playable off the disc, unfortunately. Next up is the main reason why I wanted to get a PlayStation 4. This is the game that I bought it for. That being said, the PlayStation 4 has surprised me about all the cool games you can get on it, and this is an awesome time for me to buy it because all the games are dirt cheap on it now because the generation's over. So I'm picking up all these exclusive games on the PlayStation 4, which are new games to me, for pretty low prices. Now, here's the game right here. That is SpiderMan. Now, this is the Game of the Year edition, which comes with all the DLC. A little bit disappointing. The DLC is download codes in the box. It's not on the disc. A little bit disappointing there. But this is the game I bought the system for. This game is supposed to be absolutely awesome. Insomniac is bringing back the web-swinging, free-roaming aspect of Spider-Man games, which I don't want to say has been absent, but has been lacking in the last few. So it's really cool that they took this game up and they started working on it, and they did an amazing job on it. Next up is a remake of a famous PlayStation 2 game, and that is Shadow of the Colossus. This is also one of the games that I've been meaning to try out. Never played the PS2 version, but I hear it's amazing. It's a third-person adventure game where essentially you wander through this world trying to find these gigantic Colossus monsters, and they essentially are a level. You have the level of climbing them. You have to figure out how to climb them and get to the top of them to defeat them. So this is a game I've been looking for a while. From what I understand, this is actually built on the PS2 games engine. It's like the same game, they just upgraded all the graphics, but the graphics look great. So this is definitely a game worth checking out if you haven't played it before. Next up is a game made by the same developers as Shadow of the Colossus, and that is called The Last Guardian. So The Last Guardian is a similar style looking game as Shadow of the Colossus. It's a third-person adventure game, but it's kind of like a buddy game because you have this weird dragon bird dog, gigantic jet dragon bird dog with you, and you have to command him to help you solve puzzles. So I believe this game is more of a puzzle-oriented game. So it looks pretty cool. I hear it can be a little bit janky here and there, the AI on the bird dog, but it's still supposed to be a really good game. The music is supposed to be absolutely amazing in this, so I can't wait to jump into this one. Next up is another game for the PlayStation 4, and that is Concrete Genie. This game supports VR headset as a good, cool option to play this game. What this game is, it's kind of like a puzzle game, third-person puzzle game, and you have to essentially paint walls with all these dynamic, cool paintings. It looks really neat. You essentially have to paint a bunch of walls, and it opens up the next area, move it to the next area. The stylism of this game, though, looks really, really cool. Definitely, it's kind of like takes place at night, and then your paintings glow and illuminate, and then move and stuff. It looks really, really fun. Next up is a game I picked up at a thrift store, and it is a rhythm-based game, and it's called Patapon. It's like a rhythm-based war game. I don't know, I hear this is one of the coolest games on the PSP, so I've been meaning to try it. I still don't have a PSP. I got a bunch of games for it, but I haven't picked one up yet. I'm waiting to find one at a cheap price at a thrift store somewhere. I've only found one, but the disk drive didn't work on it, so I'm still waiting to see if I can get one, because I don't want to pay market value for one. They're kind of expensive, and I don't really think they're worth it. I don't think there's that many great things on it that warrants picking it up. So I'm waiting to find one cheap. This is supposed to be one of the better games on it, though, and it's supposed to be a lot of fun. Now, graphically on the back, just, looking at the screenshots and stuff and what I've seen online about it, doesn't look that amazing to me. It doesn't appeal that much to me, but maybe when I play it, maybe it's a lot of fun. Who knows? Next up is another game I picked up at the thrift store, and that is Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. Now, this game, from what I understand, is people's favorite Metal Gear Solid game. I haven't played it before. Generally, I'm not a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid games. A little bit too much dialogue for me, not enough gameplay, and generally, I suck at stealth games, so I don't have a lot of fun with them, but it was only $2 at a thrift store, picked it up, and like I said, I hear this is the best Metal Gear Solid game. A lot of people say that, so definitely worth checking this one out.
Snake. We found him. In the Middle East. Track him down.
Next up is a GameCube game, and that is Legends of Wrestling 2. Now, Legends of Wrestling 2 is this cool arcade-style wrestling game where everybody's kind of got like cartoony looks. And the first one, I like the gameplay a lot more than this one, I found. But this one has a far superior roster than the first one. The first one was kind of like, okay, who can we get? Let's throw them in here. This one has got an awesome roster. This one's got the Hulk Hogan. I believe Macho Man's in this one. He wasn't in the first one. It's got tons of people like Roddy Piper, Bruno Sammartino, Andre the Giant. You got Scott Steiner in here. Awesome cast in this game. The game is still a lot of fun, and it's a shame they didn't get to keep making these. I know they made a third one, but from what I understand, they kind of like finished development, but didn't finish development, so it's kind of broken, the third one, from what I understand. But yeah, this one, it's got an awesome roster, so definitely worth checking this one out. Next up, picked this up at a thrift store as well, and that is 007, Tomorrow Never Dies. Now, this was a game based on a mediocre James Bond movie. I believe that's the second one with Pierce Brosnan's Tomorrow Never Dies. This is, I believe, the first one where they distanced themselves from first-person gameplay style, which was led off by GoldenEye. This one is a third-person game, third-person combat, but it's kind of cool because there's, you know, they mixed up the gameplay a bit. There's some skiing levels, there's driving levels, stuff like that, which were kind of like absent from the other first-person games. So this one is it's kind of cool. They kind of took a little bit of a departure there. Now I know they do at some point come back to first-person after this game, and then they bounce back between first and third-person a little bit with the James Bond games. I don't know. This one looks like it's fun. I don't really know much like how it reviewed back in the day, like if people liked it or not. So I gotta check it out myself, I guess, and see if it's any good.
James Bond.
Next up, I got a Sega Saturn game, and that is Revolution X. This is the Aerosmith Sega Saturn game, and what I mean by that is essentially it's a light gun shooter. This is an arcade port, I believe, and it's got just Aerosmith music playing in the background. Now, this game is a pretty good light gun game, actually. Now, I am not 100% sure if it supports the light guns or not for the gameplay on the Sega Saturn. I don't have a light gun, I've just been playing with the controller, but it's a pretty fun light gun game nevertheless, so it's cool to check this one out. It's on a super expensive Saturn game, which is very rare for Saturn, so we're checking this one out.
No choice, no voice. Fight the oppression of the New Order Nation with non-stop shoot-'em-up action straight from the #1 arcade mega hit, Revolution X. Music is the weapon from Acclaim.
Next up is a Super Nintendo game I got, and I got this one complete in box, and that is Lester the Unlikely. Now, Lester the Unlikely is a flashback style side-scroller platformer where you play as Lester the nerd. You're a nerd in this game, but and you're going through like a jungle and stuff, so it's kind of like flashback mixed with, it's got like a feeling almost like Green Dog a little, but the platforming isn't good. The look is not like flashback, but it plays like flashback, if that makes any sense. It's kind of a silly game, a little bit of comedy put in the game, so it's a fun game to check out. How much fun you actually have playing it is a different story, so check it out if you're interested. Next up is a Sega Genesis game, and that is Ren and Stimpy, Stimpy's Invention. So this game is a side-scroller platformer game based on the Nickelodeon cartoon Ren and Stimpy. This was pretty popular when I was a kid. I wasn't a huge fan of Ren and Stimpy back then. A little bit too crude, I think, the animation for me to like, but I don't know, this was pretty popular. This game looks, the visuals of the game actually look really, really good, so this is, it is still a pretty fun game to check out.
Okay, so your folks may act a little weird when they see you've got Stimpy's Invention, the new Ren and Stimpy game for Sega Genesis.
I just hope there's none of those disgusting hairballs.
Stimpy's Invention, new for the Sega Genesis system, each sold separately.
Last up, I got a couple NES games, and this one is called Snake, Rattle, and Roll. This is an isometric platformer game where you play as a snake. It's actually it's a lot of fun, this game, to play through. You play as a snake made out of balls, and you kind of go through the levels. Visually, it's really nice, and generally, I hate isometric games, but this one actually plays pretty good, so definitely worth checking this one out. And the last pickup for the month is a game called Totally Rad. This game is a little bit nostalgia because, you know, I saw it not too long ago. I'm like, oh, I remember that game from a kid. Did we have this? Who had that game? Who had the game? But what I did end up remembering is we didn't have this game. It was some magazine my brother had screenshots of it, and that's where I remembered it from. He reminded me of that. So this game is a cool side-scroller game where you run through the levels and you're this rad kid going through and you have like a laser beam that you shoot. It's a pretty cool game. It's definitely a lot of fun, this one. Check this one out. One of those mid-range NES games, so check this one out. It's a cool game. Well, everybody, those are my pickups leading to February 2022. If you like what you saw, hit like. If you dislike what you saw, hit dislike. If you want me to play any of these games in a Let's Play, leave it in a comment down below. What games did you get this month? Anything cool? Leave that in the comments down below as well. And everybody, we'll see you later.